We go. Hell yeah. Oh, it's food.
They're calling this the fight that broke mixed martial arts. The night that T-Mobile Arena became ground zero for what might be the sport's biggest scandal ever. And if you saw Joe Rogan completely losing it during the second round, you witnessed something that smells like manipulation at the highest levels of combat sports.
Obviously delivered in the main event, capped off with a war. Just give us your thoughts on Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett delivering a 5-round battle.
Yeah, I mean, what a couple. So Paddy Pimblett at the weigh-ins yesterday says, I'm going to knock this motherfucker out tomorrow. And I was like, that's interesting. And he never abandoned that game plan. Even when, he got dropped a couple times, I kept waiting for him. I'm like, he's eventually going to have to shoot and try to submit him. Now, I didn't know Paddy Pimblett had a chin like that till tonight. And, yeah, absolute dogfight in a war, and much respect to both guys.
We haven't seen Justin yet, so we don't know what his status is physically. But, I mean, is the interim, is the unification fight have to be next? Or is there a case if he's hurt and needs to be out for a while?
Apparently he's 100%. So we sent Paddy Pimblett straight to the hospital, and then we're going to send Gaethje too. And Gaethje's like, believe me, I've been in plenty of wars. I'm good. So as far as we know right now, he's healthy.
Dana, I remember when Paddy first arrived in the UFC, you were saying stuff like, well, his entrance is good and it's all well and good to get the fans, but he needs to be able to fight. Obviously, we've seen him have great wins before, but to show the durability he had in that fight tonight, do you feel like even though he lost, he will be considered one of the best in that division moving forward?
No doubt about it. I mean, he was the favorite tonight. I think that's what fucked him. Every other one, he's the underdog and everybody thinks he's going to lose. Tonight, he's the favorite. I don't think that his game plan was the greatest. Obviously, tonight he showed he is tough, he is durable, and almost impossible. I mean, especially against Gaethje. And you're eating those punches from him. It's one thing to say, listen, I'm going to come out. I believe in my durability. I believe in my chin, and I'm going to go toe-to-toe with this guy. But when it starts to not work, at some point you got to say, you know what? It's the third round. I got 2 rounds left.
Yeah, the history books will record Justin Gaethje capturing the interim lightweight championship via unanimous decision over Paddy Pimblett. Those 48-47 scorecards are now permanent, etched in stone forever. But what those official results can't hide, what we're about to expose right now, is the staggering corruption, the blatant cheating, and the suspicious officiating that handed Gaethje a win he probably never earned legitimately.
I really wanted to finish him. But I loved teaching him a lot. He said my face was not going to look the same after the fight, and his would look the exact same. So as soon as it was over, I was like, well, look at your face, motherfucker. It does not look the same. So for him to, and he's going to learn from this. You cannot have that mentality when you come in there. He needs to accept the worst possible outcome, and that's how you perform the best, when the pressure's the highest. You have to learn these lessons. Again, his mindset going into that fight was not good. It's not how you can do. You cannot do that like this. False confidence is terrible. Terrible. It'll kill you every time. And that's what he had.
Was this fight rigged because Paramount Plus desperately needed their golden boy for maximum streaming numbers? How did Mark Goddard turn completely blind to what could be the most blatant foul in title fight history? We're breaking down this conspiracy that's setting social media on fire. We're diving into the payoff allegations, the brutal eye attacks that left Paddy fighting essentially blind, and scorecards that belong in fantasy land.
That I'm glad it's over and I never want to do it again. I'm like, the fans don't ever ask for a rematch or anything like that, because that would have never. I'm like, I'm glad. He's unique, man, and he's one of my favorite guys to watch. So but if you want to beat Justin Gaethje, you have to. So he's a forward fighter and a pressure fighter that he will stand in the pocket, and he's gonna throw everything he got in that pocket. If you don't meet him, you'll get chewed up. So Paddy, the way to beat a guy who does this, very violent, aggressive pressure fighter, you have to meet him. You have to throw when he throws. So you got to be brave, and you have to go when he goes in between his shots. If you do that, you got a fair shot. If you don't do that, if you're not brave and courageous and throw when he throws in between his shots, it's going to be a really long night. It's going to be a hard night for you.
If you think this decision was clean, you need to see every frame of what we've uncovered. The evidence suggests Paddy the Baddy didn't just lose a fight, he got completely set up.
Paddy's not bad, dude. Paddy's not bad. He's very beatable, and Gaethje's very beatable as well. But when it goes into the passion and how upsetting Justin Gaethje has always been about not getting that real title shot, and they just keep dangling it right there again, Paddy's in for a new treat, right? Paddy's the one that's never fought for a belt. He's going in there. He's going to be trying to, get that stuff. He's going to feel a little bit more fresher. He's going to have that little bit of excitedness.
All right, let's go back to the precise second when everything went sideways forever. The second round kicks off, and honestly, up until that moment, Paddy Pimblett was shocking everybody in that building. He'd weathered Gaethje's opening storm, he'd eaten those crushing leg kicks and kept pressing forward. His jab was finding its mark repeatedly, and the whole arena was buzzing because this Liverpool kid was proving he belonged at this level.
If he gets it done, it's because Justin's just so shot. He's been in so many wars, he's been around the company so long, and that knockout to Max Holloway, he just hasn't recovered from. So if he gets to win that, then yeah, there. But this is seems like a smash spot. Like, if I was able to bet fighting, which we're not allowed to because the feds got involved because that moron coach James Krause screwed it up for all of us, but this seems like a smash spot on Gaethje because everybody's on, and all the public is driving the money line for Paddy Pimblett to be the favorite. But I think Justin's still a tough dog, and he's going to come out there and give his all, and he doesn't want to lose this fight. This could be his last fight if he loses. So, I think he's going to put Paddy to the test, and, Paddy, usually has to control the wrestling aspect, put guys to the ground to get his submission and to get his striking game working. So, I don't know. Justin's shot on one hand. They're trying to give him an easy win on a silver platter to Paddy to build him up. He's got a little bowl cut and a little mouth, and they think he's the next star. So, I don't know. It's a tough fight to judge. How much is left in the tank for Justin versus a guy that's absolute nobody that hasn't actually accomplished anything in the sport yet. We shot.
Then disaster struck hard. During a wild exchange, Justin Gaethje throws a left hook, but freeze that footage and examine it frame by frame. Watch that thumb placement carefully. That hand was completely open. That thumb sailed directly into Paddy Pimblett's right eye socket and went in deep. It was brutal. Joe Rogan spotted it immediately. You could hear the pure disbelief in Rogan's voice. He yelled that it was insane because that eye was totally destroyed. That thumb penetrated deep into the socket. On any normal night, with any competent referee, everything stops right there. Time gets called. The doctor rushes in. Points get taken away. Remember, Goddard had already warned Gaethje about those extended fingers earlier in the fight. But what was Mark Goddard's reaction to this obvious violation? Complete silence. He let the carnage continue while Paddy blinked desperately, clearly unable to see from his right side. And Gaethje's response, like a shark smelling blood in the water, he instantly targeted that damaged side with a crushing overhand right that totally changed everything. This is precisely where these fixed allegations are exploding everywhere. How does a veteran referee completely ignore such a clear rule violation, especially after issuing previous warnings? Was there pressure to keep the action flowing for the streaming debut? These questions need answers because that eye foul was the absolute turning point. Before that thumb landed, Paddy was winning those exchanges. After that thumb hit, he was basically fighting half blind. That's not competition, that's systematic destruction. Now let's break down those scorecards because this is where the rigged theories go completely nuclear. When Bruce Buffer read those numbers, 48-47, 49-46, and 49-46, you could see the absolute confusion on every single face in those front rows. 49-46? Are you kidding me right now? That means Justin Gaethje won 4 out of 5 rounds. What fight were these judges actually scoring? Even Gaethje's biggest fans were admitting online that Paddy clearly took rounds 3 and 5. He significantly outlanded Gaethje in the third, and he almost finished him in those final 60 seconds of round 5. So how do you give 4 rounds to Gaethje? This looks totally predetermined. It's like those judges filled out their cards before the first bell even sounded. This is exactly the kind of hometown cooking we used to see in boxing's darkest days, and now it's clearly poisoning the UFC. Think about the business side here. This was Paramount Plus's first massive live event. The UFC desperately craves subscription growth in American markets. Who makes a better marketing tool for US audiences? The wild, unpredictable scouser who might say something controversial in interviews, or the patriotic, flag-waving American hero like Justin Gaethje. It's totally logical to think corporate suits preferred a Gaethje victory to clean up their division. When you look at that 49-46 scorecard, it seems less like incompetence and more like calculated insurance. They wanted absolute guarantee that no matter how Paddy performed, he would never walk out of that cage wearing championship gold. Let's dive into these bribery theories that are completely taking over Reddit and Twitter right now. There's footage making the rounds showing Justin Gaethje's team having discussions with officials before the first bell. Now this might be totally innocent, but given everything that happened next, the ignored fouls, the biased scoring, fans are analyzing every single frame. Justin Gaethje made his name as the human highlight reel, but this performance was constructed on dirty tactics that crossed every line. Those headbutts during clinch sequences, completely ignored. The fingers and eyes, totally overlooked. The fence grabs that stopped Paddy's takedown attempts in round 4, absolutely dismissed. When one fighter gets permission to break rules while his opponent doesn't, that's the definition of fight manipulation. Just watch Paddy's reaction afterward. Usually when Paddy survives controversial decisions like that Jared Gordon fight from before, he gets defiant, he shouts about his win. But this time, he looked completely crushed before Buffer even grabbed the microphone. He knew the deal. You could read it in his whole body language. He wasn't just battling Justin Gaethje. He was fighting the entire machine. He was fighting crooked judging. He was fighting a scripted outcome. Even Joe Rogan, who usually stays neutral during broadcasts, couldn't hide his shock at the total absence of point deductions. When your commentary team is basically begging officials to enforce simple rules, you know something is seriously broken. Don't forget about the doctor situation either. After that first eye foul in round 1, the physician stepped into the octagon. He looked at Paddy for maybe 3 seconds total. No thorough pen light check, no detailed questions about his vision. He just dabbed the injured area and yelled "fight on." Compare this to dozens of other fights where doctors have stopped contests for tiny cuts above the eyebrow. Paddy's eye was visibly swelling shut, his sight was obviously compromised, yet the doctor gave immediate clearance to continue. What explains this rushed assessment? Why ignore standard medical procedures? Because the UFC absolutely couldn't afford to have their huge event end with a no-contest decision. They needed a clear winner, they wanted highlight reel moments, and they were perfectly willing to risk Paddy's permanent vision to get it. This is the sport's darkest reality that nobody wants to discuss. Entertainment value got put ahead of fighter safety and fair competition. Justin Gaethje didn't beat Paddy Pimblett through superior skills. He survived him with help from a lenient referee and 3 completely compromised officials sitting cage's side. We need to talk about that post-fight interview too. Justin Gaethje stood there holding championship gold, but he didn't look like someone who had just conquered the world. He seemed relieved. He looked like someone who had just gotten away with something major. He barely mentioned the eye foul. He immediately tried changing the subject to Ilia Topuria. Why this dodge? Because he knows exactly what happened. He knows his victory has permanent question marks. He understands that if they fought 10 times without that eye violation, things might go very differently. The crowd knows this reality too. Listen closely to the audience reaction during Gaethje's victory speech. Sure, there were cheers of support, but there were just as many loud boos of disapproval. The T-Mobile Arena crowd isn't stupid. They saw those replays on the big screens. They witnessed that thumb strike. They watched pure robbery happen live. Paddy Pimblett might be polarizing. You might hate his personality. You might dislike his style choices, but that night he showed the heart of a real champion. He fought for 3.5 rounds with seriously damaged vision against the division's most dangerous knockout artist. When he still managed to win several rounds, that effort deserved respect, not scorecard robbery. But we can't let this slide quietly. We need total accountability. We want those judges' scorecards broken down round by round with full explanations. We need Marc Goddard to justify why eye gouging suddenly became acceptable in 2026. This goes way beyond just Paddy Pimblett's situation. This is about our sport's credibility. If fights can be manipulated this blatantly, if obvious violations can be dismissed this easily, then what are we really watching? Are we seeing legitimate athletic competition, or are we consuming scripted entertainment? Justin Gaethje wears interim championship gold today, but in millions of fans' minds, that belt is made of fool's gold. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think that eye violation was intentional? Does that 49-46 scorecard prove organized corruption? Did Joe Rogan's live reaction influence how you saw things? The whole world is watching. UFC, you can't hide video evidence. You can't hide that thumb strike, and you definitely can't hide the truth. Justice for Paddy.